Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, whenever you're listening to this new episode of More Than Just Task Management, your favorite daily podcast where we help you build a thriving business. With me, Anna Angelova, business coach and consultant, and my fellow co host and business consultant, Jores Minasvand. Hey, Jores, happy Monday.
Hey Anna, happy Monday. Uh, ho- Hoping to start the week on a very positive note and to help
Yes,
our uh, members identify and deal with quiet quitters. It's been
yes,
a problem. I think the first time I heard that corporations talk about it and start identifying them was early 2000s. Uh, Before it wasn't very uh, like an obvious problem, but it is a problem indeed, or a solution or an opportunity, depending on how we look at it. So I will pass it on to you. I know you're an expert of this, Anna, and I will chime in when and if I can contribute.
Oh, you have a lot of experience to contribute, so I'm sure you will. And absolutely. So this is something that it's not a new thing, right? The quiet quitting, although as a term, I think it's relatively new, but it's not a new thing. And disengaged team members, if you go and look back at all those state of the global workforce reports by, I think Gallup does this report, you will see, and McKinsey also has some kind of reports like this. You will see how dismal the engagement, like the state of the workforce globally, like the engagement is. Like people are generally disengaged at work. It doesn't mean that they're quite quitting. There is with the disengagement, like there are levels, and quiet quitting is where like they've already quit, but they haven't really told you about it. They are warming the chair, and some people are actually going to the extreme where they can even sabotage you. Like
Mhm.
not only they're quite quitting, but they are even sabotaging their companies. So this is probably one of the things that's keeping you awake. Like your disengaged team, and ultimately, what do you do about this? And here is where, of course, when it comes to managing people, like it's all about the process of managing and leading your team, like establishing the necessary processes, procedures, like, to be able to really lead an engaged team, like a high performing team. And key factors in this, when you think about managing and leading your team, so key factors are, of course, um, those reviews you have with people. And it all actually starts, like the whole thing actually starts with clear roles and responsibilities for every single person in your team, for every single person on the bus. Clear roles, like, and responsibilities, like what is this person responsible for? And the framework we use, actually, everyone has a scorecard, and the scorecard starts with the mission, like how is this position, how is this role helping the company, how is it contributing to the common goals we have, why it matters, like why do we actually need to have this role, why is it here? So having these processes is what will allow you to, first of all, like George, you mentioned it yesterday, like having this process with the scorecard, regular reviews with your team members, not once a year, not twice a year, like every quarter. Like every quarter, you want to review
Mm.
the performance, you want to review what's going on. Of course, having performance improvement plan in place as well. And this is one thing we've talked about, that like a scorecard doesn't just include the skills, but it also includes the attitude in a way. So it's not just the hard skills, but also the soft skills, how people show up. And having all these processes in place, like this is what helps you to, like Joris, like you mentioned yesterday, first identify people who are disengaged, or even reach the level where they're quiet quitting, identify them, put them in a
Mhm.
performance improvement plan, like find out what's going on, put them in a performance improvement plan, and ultimately, if things don't work out, get rid of them.
Totally agree. Very well put, Anna. Uh, I think they used to call them people who quit and stay.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Instead of quit and leaving, they quit and they stayed. So all they do is now draw a salary, and your, as you mentioned, an employer is lucky if the person is not sabotaging. But in a way that if they are not producing, they're sort of sabotaging, but that's a different story. And one of the most dangerous side effects of people who quit and stay, or quiet quitters, is poisoning the pool, where
Yes, oh yeah.
people who work hard, they don't identify this person as a quiet quitter, but they say, well, my coworker is getting away with this and he or she is drawing salary, so why wouldn't I do? And I think the first step, but it's which is a little bit difficult, but I think you made it very easy to identify, which is the quarterly reviews and KPIs. There are a few aspects of where you can of behave of changes that you can identify a quiet quitter, and in no specific order. One of them is behavioral changes. So they become very reactive. They're very unlikely to volunteer. They will not engage in the social team building, activities, and overall, like, decline in their enthusiasm. They don't you can see it in their words, the way they sit on their chair. Performance issues, performance patterns, they're very easy to identify through these patterns that are meeting deadlines, but rarely exceeding them, barely do the
Yes,
bare
yeah,
minimum.
yeah, yeah.
Quality of their work is barely acceptable. It's not exceptional anymore. Very little innovation or new thinking. It just becomes like a drone, like a soldier. Communication shift, very short, very to the point. No engagement, no enthusiasm in their voice, in their because when you're enthusiastic in your vocal communication, that comes out in an email. When you're smiling as you're typing your email, the other person can hear the smile and vice versa. So
Oh
all of
yes,
this disappears. And the lastly, which I think is a combination of all of this, energy and attitude. So
absolutely,
very
absolutely.
important to, again, as a business owner, one of your tasks is to keep a tap on all of these, not just one employee, but all employees. And I think we'll be talking about this Wednesday or Friday, which is the other end of the spectrum, to identify someone that's performing well, and reward them. So identify the person. Anna, you mentioned a very uh, from a positive energy perspective, don't just fire them on the first spot, because there could also be, when we talk about these signs, there could also be a sign of not necessarily a quiet quitter. It could be that this person is having a real, like, personal life problem, for example, divorce, or a family with a health issue with a family member. So once you identify it, don't identify them as the quiet quitter. Probe them, may see what they, if there's an issue, if there is, you can help, they can maybe give them some time off to go deal with it. And if that's not the problem, then you know for sure they're quiet quitters. Then, like Anna mentioned, there are ways that you will expand on right now. I'll stop talking, I know I said too much, but you will execute the steps to deal with them.
Well, all the points you mentioned are so valid, and I actually wanted to bring this one up. So, when it comes to how you approach this, like again, you want to have the processes in place where I know I did mention a quarterly, those quarterly reviews you have with each and every one on your team, like talking about their performance, what's going on, how they feel, like how they're seeing their future in the company, even. But what you mentioned, like noticing these changes in behavior, changes in how people show up. like this should also be included in a way as a checklist, not only for your personal use, but also for people who become people managers. Like as your business grows, chances are that you are not managing every single person on your team, that you have managers within the team that manage people. So having this as a checklist where people, you yourself and people can monitor this, and like Joris, like you said, you don't have to wait for a quarterly review to have a conversation. And being a good leader, being a good people manager is ultimately like noticing this thing and proactively reaching out to the person to understand what's going on. And like you said, sometimes this is like life. It happens. And Joris, I know you talk from experience because you had someone in your team very recently was going through a divorce, and it was a nasty divorce.
He still
And
is. Yeah.
kids were involved, so it's really like,
Mm,
personal lives, like there are things that happen in our personal lives, then there are also things that happen in the world that impact us. So these are in general temporary, like they are not prolonged. So temporarily something is going on, and then also have like, again, being open and flexible and having the processes in a way that when something is going on, okay, this is what's going on, taking into account, help the person go through this process in like through that stretch in a best possible way, where this person, the company, people involved in his or her personal life, that everyone goes into through this in the best possible way. It goes through this successfully in a way. So I definitely I wanted to mention this as well, and I'm grateful that you brought it up. That sometimes people were disengaged because something is going on in their lives, and us as visionary leaders, as business owners, like, it's on us to see this, to bring it up, and to talk about this, and set it up in ways that helps everyone move forward. And again, that's why we're talking about today. What we're talking about is the processes. We're talking about having these things, whether it's checklists and things to do, so you can catch these things, so you can notice them, you can even prevent them, like by having actually proper steps, proper ways for hiring, onboarding, leading and managing people, and even firing people, like letting go of people. You can actually mm, have like lead your business and manage your business and lead your team in a way that you don't end up having quiet quitting. Yes, people might disengage a little bit, uh, but then you deal with this properly. And one last thing actually that I wanted to mention, uh, there are seasonal changes that happen. And we all know this, right? We all know this, that the summer is a slow time. Christmas time is a slow time, like end of year, like December between Christmas, New Year's, like it's usually a slow time. Like there are a few times in the year where like kind of naturally we all slow down. There is something in spring as well happening, where it's also like that a little bit of spring lethargy, or like with changing of the seasons. So these might be times for you, actually, for you again, thinking about processes and procedures and how you run your business, where you proactively, as the leader of this business, you actually proactively have campaigns, internal campaigns for your team, so people stay engaged, so people, yes, enjoy the holiday season, for example, but at the same time stay engaged. Like this is might be the fourth quarter, like this might be the end of the game. So how do you stay engaged while also enjoying the Christmas time, New Year's time, and all these beautiful celebrations that are going on? So this was the last thing I wanted to mention. And also this is something that I've learned personally, like with Darren Hardy, and being uh, part of the Darren Daily email list and listening to some of the things he shares. Like this is one thing that he shares, for example, like with summer, he always does something during the summer to keep his team engaged and celebrate things, and even gives them, if they achieve their goals, actually Q2 goals, everyone gets Fridays off in the summer. So in addition to keeping the team engaged, also celebrating the summer. So how can you have the cake and eat it too? So anyway, this is it. I don't think there's anything else that's coming up to my mind at the moment when it comes to dealing with disengaged team members and people who might even be quiet quitting. Jores?
I love how you put it. The best cure for this is prevention. So if
Yeah.
you put the right systems in place to prevent people from becoming disgruntled, you don't have to do everything that we just talked about. This is just in case it happens, right? But again, working on building the right systems to prevent these things, it's the best cure for from my perspective as well. And you put it very well. I just wanted to reiterate that. I know we're almost 25 minutes now, but yeah, put the right care for them before you care for them, before you have to care for them. Because if you are forced to care for them, that's too late already.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thanks,
And
Anna. Great session.
oh, thank you, Joris. And as a reminder, if you want to continue this conversation and get even more involved into this kind of discussions, how do you lead your team better? All these processes that you need to have for your business, all these systems, different systems to have a successful and thriving business. If you haven't done this yet, we highly recommend you joining the Visionary Founders Club. It's a free community for business owners, small, mid-sized business owners, aspiring entrepreneurs as well. We have discussions there. We have weekly trainings as well. We share additional resources, templates, checklists, and things like this. So, and we're there in the community. And if you want to ask questions, there sometimes people answer it, like others can answer, provide their own experience, we answer as well. So highly recommend. The link is in the description of this episode. Go ahead, join the Visionary Founders Club, and we would love to see you there.
Absolutely. See you there.
Okay. And tomorrow, let's not forget tomorrow. Tomorrow we are back with a topic that, as I said, we've touched upon a little bit on this, but we really want to dive into it specifically, like for when you're starting your business in your first year one. Do you really need a CRM, a customer relationship management system? And if yes, which one? This is something we'll be discussing tomorrow. The paradox of CRMs, as Joris put it when we kicked off the week yesterday. So if you have been wondering about CRMs, tomorrow's episode is for you. Again, this is more than just task management, your favorite daily podcast where we help you build a thriving business. Wishing you a wonderful week ahead, and join us tomorrow for another interesting conversation.
Absolutely. Bye for
Thanks,
now.
Joris. Bye. Bye.
Bye bye.